If you've ever wondered how to make a homemade Indian chicken curry, I've got the most authentic, delicious recipe out there that I know you're gonna love. What is up, Comies? Chef Billy Parisi here, and you know that I believe homemade food from scratch just tastes better, and this Indian chicken curry is on point, my friends. I'm in no way proficient in Indian cuisine, but in the past 10 years, it's definitely become one of my favorite things to eat. Such an amazing culture and some of the best food on the planet. I thought I'd put my culinary skills to the test, some of my restaurant abilities, along with a ton of research to make this homemade, authentic curry chicken. To start making an Indian curry, we need to toast off some spices, but first we're gonna crack some peppercorns and some coriander seeds. So go ahead and add some black peppercorns to a cutting board. Using a small saute pan, the backside, sort of crunch it down by rocking the pan back and forth and moving it all around. You really just wanna sort of make this a little grittier, because if you ate a whole black peppercorn, you're gonna be pissed at me because it's gonna be spicy. Simply set it to the side in a pan and do the exact same thing with some fresh coriander seeds. Put that right in your cutting board, rock that pan back and forth. Add it over to a little ramekin or jar. We're taking a bunch of spices over to the cooktop. I'm gonna be using a large rondeau pot. If you have a regular pot, it's totally cool. Start by adding in a little bit of vegetable oil. Next, we're gonna hit it with some cardamom seeds. These are nice little cool pods with tons of flavor. Next, hit it with some chunks of fresh cinnamon stick, the crushed coriander seeds, some whole cloves, and last but not least, some of the black peppercorns that we ground up. You're just gonna stir this over low heat, let some of those aromatics come out, some of those rich flavors sort of cook out into the oil. This is great timing though, because we can go back over to our cutting board, because what we need to do next is slice up some red onions. So go ahead and chop off each end of the red onion. Red onion is way more traditional in Indian cuisine than yellow, and you know me, I've got to keep it authentic. Just peel it and then julienne it very, very thin. I'm using a huge meat cleaver because when in Rome, my friends. Once it is all sliced up, we're gonna add it to a bowl. We're heading back over to that pot. It smells amazing. Add those onions right in there. Now, this is so important, you guys, so let's stop right here. We wanna caramelize these onions. That is gonna bring so much natural flavor, natural sugars from those onions right into this recipe. This is like making French onion soup. It's gonna take in between 30 or 40 minutes to properly do this. I cannot reiterate enough, my friends, take the time to do this. They will be very rich and golden brown. Now what we wanna do is add in a little bit of finely minced garlic. Hit it with some finely minced ginger. We're gonna cook this in just for a few minutes. And let's stop right here, because if you're worried that this is burning or you're seeing all the stuff sort of stick to the bottom of the pan, no worries, okay? This is something called fond, F-O-N-D. That's the nummies, the really tasty stuff that's on the bottom of the pan that needs to be scraped up. It's actually really traditional in Indian culture to just hit it with a little bit of water. This will release all that fond from the bottom, making it taste even better. Once all of those ingredients are incorporated, we're now gonna add in our spices. Hit it with some turmeric. This is gonna give it that deep yellow flavor. Some ground coriander, little bit of cumin, and then last but not least, some chili powder. Go ahead and stir that in there. Cook it for a little bit on low heat, and let's go over to our cutting board where we have some fresh tomatoes. Now, you can either chop these up, you can use some canned tomatoes, or you can blend some fresh. And since we're in season, my friends, we are gonna blend up these tomatoes. Add them to your blender. I'm not gonna do it super smooth. I'm gonna do in between chunky and in between smooth, kind of like a restaurant style salsa, if you will. Once they are perfectly blended down, let's go back over to that pot, add the tomatoes right into there. We're gonna stew it on low heat. It's gonna take about 30 to 45 minutes. We sort of want some of that moisture to evaporate, and then at that point, it will become concentrated. The flavors will be amazing and delicious. Or in traditional Indian culture, if you wanted this to be a thinner curry, you can leave it just as is, a little bit more watery. That's totally fine. I like thick, concentrated, tons of flavor, so I'm gonna cook it down. Once it is kind of almost like a paste-like consistency, what I do here is season it very well with sea salt, mix it in, and boom, you've got homemade fresh curry. If you've ever had anything like this or made it, you better drop me a comment below because I want to hear about it. So, just like my traditional Italian self, I cook for a bazillion people. I can never just cook for 4 people. So this makes a decent amount of curry. It will last up to 5 days in your refrigerator covered up, or you can freeze it for up to 2 months. Totally up to you. I'm gonna probably use about 1/3 of this into the chicken that we're getting ready to cook up. So go ahead and set it to the side. Now in another rondeau pot, I'm gonna add in a bit more vegetable oil. Go ahead and add in some chicken breasts. You can use dark meat if you'd like. I like to get a nice little quick sear on these. I'm not much for boiling protein. I don't want to just throw the chicken in with the curry and hope that it cooks it. I like to get a nice little sear, caramelize the chicken as best as I can. It only takes about 7 or 8 minutes for the chicken to completely cook on high heat. Season that up with salt. And now let's go ahead and add in that curry. So much flavor, so much goodness. Smells amazing here. To finish it off, add in some fresh chopped coriander. And let's pause right here. We are probably the only culture in the entire world that calls coriander cilantro. It's just what we do here. It's actually fresh coriander. But you would also put this in to the end of the curry when you're done making it if you plan on serving it with something else. But because I'm going to keep it for a few days, the leftovers, I don't want to put cilantro in there because it will wilt, it will break down, and I just don't want any of that. So I like to finish whatever I'm cooking it with that fresh coriander. Now it's ready to serve. And if you've never seen a tiffin box, this is sort of your workman's lunch that's stacked up. This is how you would serve up a traditional curry if someone was leaving for work, since this is a very classic recipe. You serve it up with vegetables or naan bread like I just made last time. You better check out the recipe because it's amazing. Some long grain rice, and then of course this curry chicken. You stack it up, put a lid on, then it has little clamps that fold down to hold it in place. I've got naan bread on the side, my friends, we are good to go. This is very similar to bread or pasta. Once you've had homemade curry, there is no other way to do it. The flavors are so rich, so delicious. I can promise you, homemade is where it's at, my friends. This is seriously some of the best curry I've ever had. So much flavor, so easy to do at home. And while I'm eating this and shoving it in my face, you need to go check out how to make this naan bread because it goes amazing with this traditional Indian curry chicken. And of course, subscribe to my channel. We'll check you out on the next video. Super good, you guys.